my communication and my confidence with clients and how I carry myself, especially over the phones, like I said earlier, it came with a lot of practice. It was not easy. Growing up, I was a very shy student. I would be the last person you probably would have thought would be doing YouTube. Because I remember being in school, if the teacher wanted to volunteer, I would make sure not to do eye contact. I would always be the last one to go up in group projects. I would try to, avoid anything that had to do with public speaking or group projects at all costs. So the fact that I'm now, doing this and posting videos every single week on YouTube, it's kind of mind blowing. But again, it required me to step outside of my comfort zone because I knew that this would lead me to possibly more business and for me to be seen as an authority figure in real estate. Now, I know a lot of you raised your hand earlier, you want to do YouTube, but maybe something's holding you back. Maybe it's ideas, maybe it's, you don't like the way that you look, or you don't know what to say, or you don't like how you sound. At the end of the day, whether you do it or not, someone else that's probably worse than you is probably getting on YouTube. And they might be getting the business that could have been yours. So that's exactly what I told myself. The same with cold calling. If I don't do it, there's going to be some other agent that's probably like shady or worse than me getting the business. Why not be me? I need to get to them first. My mentality switched when I was making these calls. It wasn't about, oh, what if they ask me something that I don't know how to answer? For me, it was like, you know what? I need to get to that family that needs to make this move happen because of X, Y, and Z. And I need to be there for them because I know I can help them and I'm the best agent. So when I changed my mindset and I thought that's what really motivated me to continue making my calls. One of the very first listings that I got, I remember I always made a goal to talk to between 30 and 40 people every single day. A lot of the things that I did in the beginning, a lot of you might be like, oh, dang, like this girl's crazy. But again, I didn't want to be an average agent and I needed to get deals. I transitioned from my previous career. I went full-time into real estate. This was my life. If I didn't have any listings or any deals going on, then I got to be prospecting. So I remember one of the first times I was calling all day. It was around 4 o'clock. I had been getting so many people upset, yelling over the phone. I was ready to give up. And it was like 4:50 or something. And I'm like, oh, like I just want to call it a day. But I knew that I hadn't hit my 40 contacts. So I said, you know what? I got to suck it up. I got to keep going because if I don't make these calls, no one's going to do them for me. So I remember the last call that I made that day, it was an older gentleman and he was very upset. He was like, oh, all you realtors, you're all horrible and all you want to do is get paid. And he told me like everything. He went off. But then I asked him, oh, tell me like where were you looking to move if the home had sold? You sound very upset. So I ask a lot of open-ended questions on my calls. And he pretty much told me, I'm 75. I live in a 4,000 square foot home. It's hard going up and down the stairs. So that's what I caught on. Okay, so this man, if he stays in this house, now if he falls, something's going to happen to him. So he needs to move. So even though he was very upset, I knew that it was necessary for him to make a move. Then I asked a lot more questions to figure out, what needed to happen, how his experience was, ended up setting an appointment. And long story short, ended up getting that listing. It was right under $1 million and also ended up having to represent the buyer for that one. And it was an expired that if I would have given up 10 minutes earlier, I would have never gotten that gentleman. So that's just one example. A lot of people don't like calling cold calling, expires for sale by owners, but it got to the point that I love those. I love going after those people because there's less agents calling them. And a lot of them, if you're not ready, if you're not prepared, if your skills are not on point, you're going to give up. You're going to be like, you know what? There's probably easier lead sources that I can go after. And maybe there are. But at the end of the day, if you can have lead sources like this, where it's low hanging fruit of sellers and supplemented with posting on social media or videos, which I know a lot of you are doing, then now you're just building this up so that long term, eventually one day you're getting business from both sides, or it gets to a point that like me, I don't have to call these expireds or for sale by owners. I have built my database of so many of these people that if I want to call now, I'll do it for fun. I'll do it with our team. Sometimes just for shits and giggles, if I see a for sale by owner sign when I'm driving, I like to call it. It's like, okay, let's test my skills and see if I'm still really good at this. And that's just what I like to do. You guys, it was so crazy how I was in the beginning, with my scripts and the role playing, that I remember I would have dreams of me doing the listing presentation because I was so ready. I was ready to get the next listing. I would wake up and I'd be like, oh man, I had a dream that my sign was in the front yard. And I was drilling all of my scripts every single day, role playing, preparing myself for that big day because I didn't know when that was coming. So I want to ask you, are you guys ready? Are you preparing yourself for that business? Because I know a lot of you want to be a top agent, you want to get a lot of deals, you want to work with buyers, sellers, but are you ready for that type of, business coming your way? Do you see yourself that way?